Yeah, what happened was the Obama campaign. What's that? Oh, sorry. The Obama campaign thought the youth vote was going to be very important, and they reached out to a gallery in San Francisco, Upper Playground, who specialized in street art because they thought, well, the street art would the youth would identify with the street art. Street art was very big, which is kind of a big part of this whole thing that happened. And so they asked 8 different street artists to do these limited edition prints to support the campaign. Yeah, that's where Shepard's first. He was the first one they asked, and I think I was. Then they think they get David Cho was second. I was like third. So anyway, he actually called me on a Monday. He says, "Is there any way you could have it like on a Friday?" So that was like the first thing I thought of, and I got pictures of each of them, their faces lined up and the eyes lined up exactly, and the nose, and which is very rare because most people's, proportionally people's are never the same. So it was very lucky, and they actually kind of look a bit alike, and so it fit together really well. I did it. I sent it to them, and I was having a party the next week, so I sent the image out to a bunch of my friends, and one of them sent it to Boing Boing. So suddenly it got to be this internet thing. It was like really big on the internet, and then one of my friends says, we should just tour this image. We should just do like, well, I have a rock band with these guys in Colorado, and they said, let's just tour this like a rock and roll band. It'll be one image. So we printed up billboards and posters, and we started in Boston. But we went to Boston. It was funny because we went to Boston, and we put up the posters, and it was like kind of uneventful. They had a little party for us at this gallery afterwards. I handed out like hundreds of posters to all the kids that came, and I guess the kids went out all night and postered and of their own accord. So the next day we're driving back, and we'd already made the national news before we got back to New York because the mayor was freaked out, and I don't know. But the internet thing initially made it famous. And then maybe about a month later, it got picked up by CNN and NBC. And there's not really a soundtrack. I don't even remember what music was in there. Oh, okay. Some of the stuff was by our band. I think you saw like them in Colorado. But we're only about halfway through our record. It's kind of not like everybody's top priority. So, but I'll tell them you liked it because it's rough being in a band. Shepard did, and when we were in Denver, he got arrested. His whole crew got arrested, but my crew, nobody got arrested. But the one guy, Daniel, fell off a building, and it was like, well, I have this thing. It's like never drink and do vandalism, and we went out and like so we were taking the night off, so we did some shots, and then he's like, he saw somebody had stolen one of my posters, and then he just got his head. He was going to put it back, and he scaled this building by the drain pipe, and then he got to the top, and then the drain pipe started going like that, and so he was on crutches at the rest of the movie. So, well, you know what happened was I was doing my normal thing, and I do these kind of parody billboards, and I did like one of a giant elephant, and he's peeing, and it says "Trickle Down Democracy." It just, but the normal way that I go about things are these kind of parody billboards that look like the opposition's actually doing them. And so I was actually putting those up before that I talked to the Obama campaign. And then once we started doing stuff, they asked me, they said, look, we're doing this positive campaign, and could you not do like all the negative stuff? So anyway, but so after that I never did any more of the McCain type of stuff. So, but it was kind of interesting because it was everything about what I did was antithetical to the way that I do things. For like 30 years I did illegal billboards. I don't ask anybody permission. I don't like waiting for permission. I think it's just a bore. And every one of those murals that we did, I made sure they were legal, because I didn't want anything to come back on the campaign. So it's actually, my life changed after that because I don't do illegal things anymore because it made me realize that if you're really patient, you really work with people, they'll let you do all this stuff, But it is very frustrating to ask permission. I'd rather ask for forgiveness. Excuse me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, after the whole Obama thing got him so famous that I think if you get like to a certain level of fame, then just people go after you. And I think just a lot of people are going after him. And he almost just write a check for $20 because I think it's $20 to license an image to make a work of art. So But you know, I think your life gets very hard once you stick your head too big. What did Sylvester Stallone say? If you stick your head above the crowd, everybody's going to want to whack it off. So. Oh, you know what? No, you know what? He never denied he did it, but I think he went back and fudged some of the evidence, and he took a picture, and I don't know what he was doing, but he took a picture that George Clooney was in and said that's the one I used, and he recreated his process, which was stupid. There was no point in it, but I think he was thinking it would even be 1 degree farther away from, you know, look, I actually cropped it, because he didn't crop the one he did, but he changed it, like the law says, if you change it 30%, then it's a unique work of art. But again, once like if you make a bunch of money, then people think I want in on that. You know, if he just made it and he had never profited off of it, he just put it on the streets, and I don't think any of that would have ever happened. I didn't keep track, but I know that I took every cent that we had in our bank account and bought posters and just hoped that it would all work out. So I think it was something like $20,000 I spent on posters. But thankfully, I made the original painting. I sold to a Republican in New York that kind of ended up financing the whole thing. So. Yeah, you know, it was funny. And the night of the election, everybody, like Daniel was in L.A. and he went to that big party where Shepard was handing out the posters, and the other guys went to a Jon Stewart party in New York, and I laid in bed and I was sick because I think I just been running on adrenaline for months. So, but yeah, I didn't even know what to think if he would have lost. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, you know, most of my family are Republicans, so I'd be a pretty lonely person if I. But you know, the whole political thing is really funny because, I mean, like my best friend's a Republican, but he's a Republican, you know, for everybody's joins a party for a certain issue or certain reasons, and he's a Wall Street guy, so he likes to have deregulation for Wall Street. So everybody has their issues, and they're you know, like a conservative would be somebody that would want to conserve the environment, I suppose, but they may not be that. But I think people like have their political affiliations for different reasons. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. No. And I think the reason that they never have is because of, I don't know if you know about that case called McLibel in England, but there were a couple young kids that were protesting McDonald's, and they made like 10 points, and they were handing out in a flyer, and all their 10 points were correct, but they have different laws than we have here, like they have libel laws, and so you have to go into court and you have to prove yourself that this is true, and they were saying, well, they're cutting down the rainforest to make grazing land for cattle, and the land only is vital for 3 years, and then it just becomes like a desert. And so that they can make these hamburgers, and they say you have to bring a scientist, you know, from the rainforest, and they couldn't afford, so they lost on 2 counts, but they kept it in court for almost 10 years, and McDonald's like got so much bad publicity off of it that I think once I came around with the MC Supersized, and then Morgan came around with the movie, I think they just said we're not going to touch it. We'll just let it burn itself out. And I can't say for sure that's what they did because I don't sit in on their board meetings, but I think that's what happened. Anybody else? This is the first festival that I've come to, but the director has taken it to a few festivals, and he's in The Hague this weekend with it. So. You know, I don't know. They told me I would get to paint a car. Me and some other people, Harold Blank. He's here, we're here promoting his movie too, the art car movie. So I think they asked him if he would do an art car, and then they said I could help and that's kind of what got me to come. But you know, usually people say like, we'll get some cows you can paint, or we'll give you a billboard. That really makes me want to show up. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, new model, whatever. If I get to paint something, then I'm happy. You know. What? Yeah. So anybody else? Maybe one more question? No? Oh, we hate each other now, so. No, I think in 3 years we have to do it again, right? So, well, anyway, thank you so much.